Let me ask you something honest. Have you ever sat with your book open for 2 hours, felt exhausted when you finally closed it, and then realized you remember almost nothing? Have you ever thought, maybe I'm just not as smart as the toppers? Here's what nobody tells you. Intelligence isn't fixed. It isn't something you're born with or without, but there are habits, specific, repeated behaviors that make your brain work against you. Habits that make you feel slow, foggy, and incapable, even when you're putting in the effort. Today, I'm going to name 5 of them, not to make you feel guilty, to make you aware, because the moment you see these habits clearly, you can drop them. And when you drop them, your brain starts working the way it was designed to. Let's begin. Passive reading. This is the biggest trap students fall into. You open your book. Your eyes move across the lines. Maybe you even move a highlighter along with them. It feels like work. It feels like studying. But here's what's actually happening inside your brain. Almost nothing. Passive reading is a spectator sport. Your brain is watching the information go by, not engaging with it. Neuroscience is clear. The brain learns by retrieval, not by repetition. It learns when it has to reach in and pull something out. When you just read, you're giving your brain a free ride. It doesn't have to work, so it doesn't store anything. The fix is painfully simple and painfully uncomfortable. Close the book. After every paragraph or every page, look away and ask yourself, what did I just read? If you can't say it in your own words, you didn't learn it, you just saw it. This one shift, from reading to recalling, separates average students from toppers more than any other single habit. Studying with your phone on the table. I know, you tell yourself it's on silent. You tell yourself you won't look at it, but your brain doesn't believe you. Research shows that just the presence of your phone, even if it's face down, even if it's off, reduces your available cognitive capacity. Your brain is constantly, subtly, unconsciously dedicating a small part of its processing power to ignoring that phone. It's like trying to study while someone whispers in the next room. You can't hear them, but your brain is working to filter them out. That filtering costs energy that should be going into understanding complex concepts. The fix: put it in another room, in your bag, outside the door. Create actual physical distance. You will feel the difference in 10 minutes. Your focus won't just improve slightly, it will deepen. Multitasking while studying. This one hurts to hear, but you need to hear it. Your brain cannot multitask. It is neurologically impossible. What you call multitasking is actually task switching. You study for 5 minutes, check a message for 30 seconds, study for another 5, scroll for 10. Every time you switch, your brain pays a switching cost. It has to disengage from one context and re-engage in another. That takes time, and it takes mental fuel. By the end of an hour, you've spent more energy switching than studying. You feel tired, but you've accomplished little. The fix is called monotasking. Give a single subject, a single chapter, a single problem your full, undivided attention for a set period. Even 25 minutes of pure focus is more valuable than 2 hours of fractured attention. Quality over quantity. Always. Ignoring sleep before exams. I know the logic. If I sleep, I lose 6 hours of study time. If I stay awake, I gain 6 hours. This logic is the reason so many students underperform despite working hard. Here's what science actually says. Sleep is when memory consolidation happens. When you learn something during the day, it's fragile. It's like a file saved to your desktop, but not yet stored on the hard drive. During deep sleep, your brain replays those memories, strengthens the neural connections, and moves them into long-term storage. If you don't sleep, that file stays on the desktop. It's vulnerable. It gets corrupted. It disappears. 1 hour of study followed by good sleep is more effective than 5 hours of study followed by an all-nighter. The student who sleeps walks into the exam hall with a brain full of stored, accessible knowledge. The one who stayed up walks in with a brain full of fog and fragments. You decide which one performs better, measuring effort by time, not output. This is the most subtle and the most dangerous. You sit for 3 hours and tell yourself, I worked so hard today, but what did you actually produce? Did you master 3 concepts? Did you solve 10 problems correctly? Did you write summaries that you can actually use for revision? Or did you just sit with your book open for 3 hours? Time is not effort. Time is just time. Effort is what you produce within that time. When you measure your day by hours spent, you trick yourself into feeling productive when you're actually just present. The fix. At the start of every study session, write down one specific output. By the end of this session, I will be able to explain this chapter in 5 bullet points. Or, I will solve 5 problems from this section without looking at the solution. Then, at the end, check if you did it. This shifts your brain from passive time serving to active goal achieving. It wakes up your focus immediately. So here's where you stand. These 5 habits aren't permanent. They aren't your identity. They are just patterns you've fallen into, probably without even realizing it. Passive reading, phone proximity, task switching, sleep sacrifice, time worship. Drop them one by one. Not all at once. That's overwhelming. Pick one. The one that hurt the most to hear. Work on that for a week. Watch what happens to your clarity, your retention, your confidence. You don't need a new brain. You just need to stop getting in the way of the one you already have. Now, I want to ask you something. Which of these 5 habits do you struggle with the most? Maybe it's the phone. Maybe it's passive reading. Maybe it's the all-nighter trap that keeps pulling you back. I want you to pause for a moment, think honestly, and then write it in the comments. Just one habit. The one you're finally ready to overcome. Because when you name it, you own it. And when you own it, you can change it. I read the comments. I want to know what you're fighting, and in future videos, I'll speak directly to those struggles. Start today, your next study session. I'm with you. All the very best.